In this video, we are going to learn how to create a rhythm play-along video using PowerPoint and your favorite movie editing software. For this project, I will be using Adobe Premiere Elements, but if you have iMovie or any other application for video editing, that should work just fine. So we're going to have this video in two sections. The first section, we're going to learn how to create slides on PowerPoint. I like to use PowerPoint because for me, it is more versatile. I can use more fonts, I can manipulate the images easier, and also I can save them easily as PNGs. And we're going to go through that entire process here. First thing we're going to want to do is check your size. My default is widescreen, and so I would suggest making your PowerPoint a widescreen default. And then after that, you're going to want to format the background, especially if you want to have a background picture of some sort. Simply find a picture or texture fill, then go to Insert. If you have a file on your computer, you can select that, or you can choose stock images or online pictures or whatever you are looking for. I went to online pictures for this project and I searched night sky background. And that is where I found the twinkling stars because the song I'm using today is Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. So it's here somewhere. There it is. So this is it. You're going to select it and then you're going to select Insert. It'll put it in there. I already had it as my background, so it didn't do anything different for me. But what you're going to want to click is Apply to All so that all of your pages will have that same background. When you have the background you like, and you can also set a transparency if you want it lighter. Play around with it however you want it to work out. But when you are finished, you can X out of that and then start in your workspace. So I am on my second slide here, and I'm going to begin inserting text and boxes and whatnot. So I'm going to have my first text box, and I'm just going to have it say A section. Because when I am making my videos, I want to make sure that, first of all, I need to know where I am when I'm creating them, and I always like for my students to know what's happening as well. So I'm going to make the text a little bit bigger, fix whatever fonts you want, however you want to arrange it. So here's my A section. And then I'm going to start building the rhythm boxes. There are two ways to build these boxes. One is probably a way that is easiest, and that is creating the box and then layering an image on top of the box. The way that I do it is I create the box first. I fill it in with my color scheme. I give it an outline. Let's see, I'll make the outline a little bit thicker so we can see it. And then I double click inside the box to add font. And the reason I do that is because I do have music font. I like to use the music font because I can change the color. And this font is free. If you type in a search, MUSISYNC, Musisync, you will be able to find these online. So here's my font. You can't see it because the default is white. So let's change it to black. And we're going to draw in a quarter note. And there it is. So my Q is a quarter note. And I'm going to make it bigger so we can see it. And the reason I like to use the font is for this reason that I get to change the font. So there's a nice blue note for my Twinkle Twinkle Little Star tutorial. Now that I have my first box and I like the position of it and where it is, I am going to create the rest of the boxes. I'm going to click Control D to duplicate once I have that box clicked. I'm going to place it where I want. And then when I click Control D again, it basically populates the new boxes in their spots, just right where I want them. I'm going to change this rhythm to eighth note because my pattern is going to be do, 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 day, do. And that is what I'm going to use as the basis of my A section. Once I have built all four boxes, what I'm going to do next is duplicate the slide. And I want to have one slide per beat. So there is one complete measure in 4 slides. This project is going to be super short because I made it short, but a typical slide for me will be anywhere from about 80 to 150 slides. It just depends on the length of my music. So here's the A section. I'm going to go back to the first slide. And I'm going to highlight this box. And I'm going to do that by going to the shade icon here, and I'm going to select whatever color I would like to pick. So I'm going to do yellow. I'm going to go to the next slide that has beat 2 and highlight that. Next slide, I will highlight beat 3. And the fourth slide, I'm going to highlight beat 4. For each of the sections in my music, I'm going to do the same thing. And notice I duplicated after I did the first box because I want everything to be in the same spot so that when we go from page to page, nothing in the background changes. And that will give you a nice seamless video. So this is part 1. And again, if you are creating a longer piece of music, a longer video, you're going to have a lot of slides. And we're going to stop here at 5 slides. The first one is my introduction page, and then the other 4 are my A section. And what I need to do now, after I have it saved, of course, you want to make sure that you have the PowerPoint extension saved. You're going to want to go to File, and then you're going to want to Save As, because now you are going to change this extension to a PNG or a JPEG if you want. I typically like to choose PNG. I like the looks of them and they're clear. So we're going to go to PNG, and then I'm going to go to the word tutorial where I saved it, and I'm going to write the word slides next to it. Slides, because I will know where to find them. So we're going to save. It's going to ask which slides I want to export, and of course I want to export them all. This took 1 hot minute, but usually when you have about 100 slides, it'll take a really, I don't know, it takes at least a minute or so. And so just be patient. When it's done, click OK. And then you will find the folder where you saved everything, and you should have your music uploaded already. Then you have your PowerPoint extension, and then you have the slides that you just saved. And if I open that folder, all 5 of my slides are in there as PNG images. So now that we have this all set, our folder is ready to go. Now we are done with part 1, and we are ready to open our video editing software. So I'm going to be using Adobe Premiere Elements. I'm going to click on Video Editor, and when the page opens, I want to go to the top ribbon and look for the word Quick. Because for me, when I am on the Quick, it is easier to see everything and it is easier to add. Expert has a lot of the extra features where you're going to want to do picture-in-picture later on. You can do fade in, fade out, and all sorts of really cool things. But right now, we're going to stick with Quick because it's less to have to be distracted by. And I'm going to start layering my items. First, I'm going to drop the file with my recording. So this morning I made a 15-second recording of the A section to Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And I'm going to open that and put it in. And you'll see that this file here is really short because it is a short excerpt, but I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to stretch it out so that I can see it better. And you'll see this blue cursor with the red line. This is going to help us keep track of where we are and how to manipulate the clips once we add the images. So let's play it, make sure I'm happy with it. 1 and 2, and here we go. And so that's all we have in the music. We're going to move this cursor all the way back to the beginning. All the way back. Let's go all the way back up here. Okay, now we're ready to add the images. I'm going to go back to my files and folders. And my folders are already here, but if you don't have them, you can always search for them here. Tutorial slides, and I'm going to start with the introduction. Since the song itself didn't have a musical introduction, I am using my count off as the introduction. And so the normal default length of these videos seems to be anywhere around 3 to 4 seconds. And so I need to shorten it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shrink this a little bit so I can see it better. And I'm going to go back to the top. I have my cursor at the very, very front here, and I'm going to start it whenever the music begins. That's when I want to cut the length of this clip, and I'll show you how to do that once we get to it. 1 and 2, and here we go. So this is about where I stopped. I'm going to take this clip and I'm going to drag and make it shorter. That is one way to shrink a clip. I'm going to show you another way in a second, but let's listen to it again and make sure we are happy with it. We're going to go back to the front. 1 and 2, and here we go. So I think that's about where we want it. I'm going to move my cursor, and you can see that the cursor sometimes just moves like that without me dragging it, and I am clicking page up to go backwards and page down to move forward. So I have my cursor where I need it. I'm going to drop the files. I tend to drop one single measure at a time. And the reason is because I manually like to make sure that the beats are lined up with the images before I move on. Otherwise, it gets to be really messy. So I'm going to do all four beats. So that's one measure. And as you see, again, the default is about 4 seconds, and we need to shrink these clips. And remember, the first way I showed you to shrink the clips is to highlight the clip and then drag it and make it smaller. Another way to do it is to move the cursor. Anytime you click anywhere in a clip, you see the cursor moves. You can move it wherever you want, and then click Control K. And it splits the clip into two. What you need to remember about this is that when you split the clip into two, you need to delete one of them. So delete the second one. And now you can see by the highlighted images that I've got clip 1 for beat 1 and clip 2. So let's shrink clip 2 by doing the same thing. I'm going to Control K and split it and cut it. Let's take clip 3 or measure 3 or beat 3 here and Control K, cut it, and then beat 4. Look at the highlights, and that will help you to know if you are on the right beat. So beat 1, beat 2, right? Beat 3, beat 4. So let's see. I don't know if there might be a little bit long still. Typically depends on the speed of the music, how fast or slow, or how long or short you need these clips to be. So here is what I'm going to try. And now we're going to begin the music again from the beginning. And we'll see how these line up. And this is the most tedious part of this section of adding clips and music, is listening and matching the beats. So let's see how this sounds. 1 and 2, and here we go. So it looks like my images are moving a little bit too fast for the beat, so I'm going to make them a little bit bigger. Now, I am sure that there's a way that you can bulk choose these to pick the beats, and that will probably work better. But I like to make sure that sometimes when I choose the same length, sometimes the piece will shift a little bit, and I need to be really careful. So let's try this again and see what it looks like. 1 and 2, and here we go. Okay, that's about good. We can always make this a tad bit longer. And again, you can magnify this workspace as big or as little as you need it, because then you can really see how big or how small you want these clips to be. So I think we've got a good size. Let's try it one more time. 1 and 2, and here we go. When you get to the point where you are happy with the size of your clips, what you're going to do is you're going to click on the first one, then you're going to hold the shift bar, you're going to click the second one, the third one, and the fourth one. And then you're going to Control C for copy. Move your cursor so that it's at the end, and then you're going to Control V to paste it. And now you have another measure. And then you can work one measure at a time or add a couple measures. My music is going to end right here, so it looks like I only need 2 full measures for this clip. Let's see what happens. 1 and 2, and here we go. And there we have it. So this is our complete movie. I'm going to put that to the end there. Here's where you can go to export. And then you can take that clip and you can choose to fade it if you want to. So fade out the video. You can do however you want to play around with this. So let's go back to quick. Let's go back to the beginning and play it and see how our complete video sounds and looks. 1 and 2, and here we go. And now it is complete. So what you want to do is make sure you save this. If you are working on it in chunks, you're going to save it little by little. I like to save it in my folder. So I had my play along tutorial. I'm just going to save it here as Twinkle Tutorial. And then I am going to, I need to export it because I need to make it into an MP4. That's just the default. If it's iMovie, I think your default would be .mov. Now that it's saved, I am going to go to File, Export and Share, and that's what will turn it into. It's going to turn it into its .mp4. So let's find that play along tutorial and just leave it in this. I'm going to call it Play Along Tutorial Twinkle. Select, oh no, actually the tutorial folder is where I need to keep it. I can name it whatever. Yeah, that's right. So let's just put it in, let's try this part again. We're going to browse. I can't change the name of the folder. I was thinking, there we go. And now we're just going to save it in there. You're going to wait for it to export. And now you have this video complete on your desktop or wherever you saved it. And you can see it says it right here, MP4. You open that. And you should be able to 1 and 2, and here we go. So that is the complete video. And from there, you would upload to YouTube or whichever server you have and share it out. So I hope this tutorial was helpful. This is just one of many, many ways to do this sort of video. This is just how I taught myself how to do it, and with these two applications, with PowerPoint and then with a movie editing software, and hopefully it's something you can do and share with your students. Thanks so much for stopping by.